Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Wrestling Weekend Recap. The one and only Jade, I am Ace Monex, and we're here to give you the good, the bad, and the latest inside news in regards to all of the sports entertainment TV shows that air this week. Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, the Wednesday Night Wars between NXT and All Elite Wrestling's Dynamite. Along for the ride, Impact Wrestling, and maybe, just maybe, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Well, before we get started with what we got on this card tonight, we want to mention our disclaimer, of course, that during the nature of this program, everything that we say, speak, and convey on the show is strictly our opinion and does not necessarily reflect the views of the platform that we're on or the companies of wrestling that we talk about. And now, don't have a cow, man. And Jay, do you know what we are celebrating this weekend?
Yes, we do.
And what would that be? Do you know?
Well, technically that would be Valentine's Day, but if you're talking about tomorrow, which is going to be NXT Vengeance Day, and yes, the card is stacked up, titles and whatnot. Tomorrow night is gonna be a fruitful night for NXT.
That means to me not much of Valentine's Day, but to me it's St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And while we're at it, I thought we should take a little trip back. 1999 with this theme of St. Valentine's Day Massacre. That was the only pay-per-view at the time where they themed it around Valentine's Day. And I like the theme, and I liked it that it centered around the rivalry between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon at that time, Mr. McMahon. How it was almost coming to a culminating point, so to speak, and they're pretty much incorporating all the wrestlers in the process. This was still the battle, like I said, between Austin and McMahon, but now incorporating his group of the corporation. But also, now you're adding the biggest gun into the WWF at the time, and that was the debut of The Big Show. And I'm like, this is awesome. I love that segue. I just love that segue. It gave the old school lovey-dovey touch, while it gives it its rude, sadistic, sinister side to Valentine's Day. And of course, there was a history story of St. Valentine's Day Massacre from way back when, ages ago. And that's something cool to revisit as well. So all of that culminating, into something historic. And that was just, something that they thought that they could incorporate, on that pay-per-view. But yeah, that was the debut of The Big Show in the main event of the steel cage match between Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon, and Stone Cold Steve Austin at the time. So yeah, St. Valentine's Day Massacre to me, every freaking February 14th that happened during the last number of years, I always watch St. Valentine's Day Massacre because, I don't got a girlfriend. I got nothing to do. So why make myself miserable when I can watch a hell of a pay-per-view that took place back in February 14th of 1999?
But there is an honorable mention because coincidentally on Valentine's Day, we do have a friend that was born on that day. And yes, he is an avid sports entertainment fan. So we just got to give our props and a shout out to a good friend, Brother Lando Queller. Thank you very much for the ride, and happy early birthday, brother.
Let's give him a round of applause. He is a part of the Ace One Armageddon crew. He helped us out with the Mortal Kombat interviews from the last number of years. And, without Doc, you know, not much of those interviews would have taken place if it weren't for his help, his assistance, and, you know, uh, having to have a great time, hang out, take pictures, and just pretty much have a ball. And that's what we did those last number of years. And Doc, if you're watching this episode, this is dedicated to you, my good man. I know we haven't seen much as of late because of COVID and everything, and with everything personal you're going through. And the weather is only getting more brutal. I would love nothing more than to give you a visit exactly tomorrow. But we'll see how everything turns out. But if I can't make it, then once the weather does get better, I will hit you up, give you a visit, and wish you a happy belated birthday. But since it's tomorrow, bro, happy birthday. I will post something on social media for you and let you know how much I love you, man. And, without you, none of what we already been through together can ever change how I feel about you, man. You're like my oldest brother. And I just want to thank you for everything you've ever done for me, for my brother, and for the rest of the guys, man. You're awesome, And happy birthday, Doc. Once again, happy birthday. All right, now let's get to the show. In this episode, obviously we're going to recap some of the good stuff that we watched on all 4 shows. We're not going to go through the rundown of everything because we are going to talk some of the latest inside news that has been going on this week. For example, Nia Jax has been the trending topic of the whole, conglomeration, so to speak, this week. First Raw, then on SmackDown. Obviously, that's the trend that's been, going out loud this week all over social media, everywhere, and from WWE, Raw, SmackDown. She's been the trend topic of my goodness on the way how she landed in her match, and obviously from what took place this past Friday on SmackDown. It's like, okay, we're seeing this again, and it's like, my God, this Bird girl is just like, damn. I would have liked being where she was at, It's just it's funny, it's hilarious, but at the same time, it's like, damn. I wonder how long she can last with this pop off ride.
I don't really know, and I can mention that it couldn't be more embarrassing for the irresistible force, because I don't know how to say it in English, but I can say it in Spanish. Le falta una crema para las almorranas.
Se quitan con chamaca. Dice, Dice. Also, we still want to talk about the main event that took place this past Wednesday night with AEW's Dynamite. The tag team match that took place with Kenny Omega and Bullet Club member Kenta going against Lance Archer and the now acknowledged, that was the word, acknowledged IWGP United States champion Jon Moxley. And we're going to get into the aftermath also of what happened, because there has been a video unleashed on YouTube on the AEW page when it came to the end of the match, and how, to me, once I play you that audio clip, that way you can get some aspects in of, okay, is this really still going on as a work, or are the top players that were formerly part of Bullet Club already undermining the players of now in Japan? We're going to get into that. Also, we're going to run down the card of what is expected for tomorrow night. NXT Vengeance Day will take place tomorrow night on the WWE Network, and we're going to give our aspect of what we think is going to happen tomorrow. We will not do a live reaction towards Vengeance Day. But we are going to talk about the card as well. Also, there's been other latest news that's been going on, like we mentioned, and we definitely want to get into those stories and give our honest opinion about what can happen or what has happened actually. Like, for example, Cody Rhodes in his match, he's been injured. We don't know how long he's going to be out of action, especially with the angle that he's got going on with Shaq coming up in March. We don't know if this could affect his play and his performance of him not actually being there for that match. Also, Braun Strowman has revealed that he has infection in his bloodstream. We want to get to that story as well. So a lot of things going on this week, Jade, but we're going to start with all the stuff that took place with Monday Night Raw. And I believe that Raw had a decent show, but also from what I understood, it was one of their lowest, and it's already the beginning of the year. This is their lowest since last December, when it suffered their lowest rating as well for one of their episodes during that month and time. So, like I said, man, and I said it, and I said it before, and I know you agree with me. Raw's got a lot of fixing to do. SmackDown is still trending decent. They haven't fallen behind, but Raw has definitely got a lot of work to do. And I feel that the creatives responsible for it. Maybe, Vince could be on the other side of it, and we don't even know what his condition is, health-wise. But when he's not there, we understand that, Triple H might take the realms of the show. It all depends on who's available, if he's there, or if not, maybe Bruce Pritchard takes it all the way. So, I mean, it could go either way. So we are going to jump into that right now just a little bit. So the one thing that obviously we just spoke it at the top of the show. Let's just start with Nia Jax being the trending topic with "Oh my hole." I mean, the way that she landed, and we're gonna revisit the clip here right in front of us because it's just crazy ridiculous when you got something that just comes out of the blue like nothing. And right now we're watching the clip, and I couldn't even believe my eyes or ears once hearing that, because supposedly originally it was censored on live television. So I think it got edited out pretty quickly. I don't even know how they worked that magic, but supposedly it got edited out. I don't know if it was on live television or when they play the playback on YouTube. So we're gonna watch it right now with close attention and see. We should have rewatched it on Raw, and I think we did about 4 times, but we didn't hear her say "Oh my hole." Maybe read her lips, but I don't know. And it's already got 30K views right now on YouTube as we speak, and this was 5 days ago. At this point, Lana's already tagged up with Naomi, so they're partners. Of course, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, they just barely got the women's tag team titles back. And Lana just barely redeemed herself coming back into the Royal Rumble, where she eliminated Nia Jax through pulling the top rope, and Nia Jax, ran out of there. Okay, this wasn't it right here. But then Nia Jax is already on the other side of the apron. Lana already gave like about 3 high kicks to the side of the face. And now she's trying to remove her fingers from the top rope. But of course, Nia Jax had butted Lana right there when she goes down. So now she sets her up right at the edge of the apron. But right there, she puts her foot on her throat for good measure. Of course, Nia Jax just barks at her like nothing. Okay, here we go. Pay attention closely. Yeah. It was. Oh my god! It got censored. They got censored. I don't believe this, and we haven't even watched the clip until now. But once again, Lana took the advantage and up one on Nia Jax yet again. So that's already three consecutive events in a row for Lana winning over Nia Jax. Well, 2 matches actually. A singles match in the month of November.
Yes.
This was before Survivor Series. When she came back to the Royal Rumble, obviously they had their run-ins, and when Nia Jax was about to run towards Lana to deck her over the top rope, Lana thought very smart. She pulled the top rope, and then there goes Nia Jax over the top rope, and she got eliminated by Lana. Lana will always hold that forever in her record, and it's in the history books. You know, Nia Jax is going to be seeing that smudge forever and a day if she can get her hands on that history book of the Royal Rumble. And then just this past Monday on Raw, in a tables match, Lana got Nia Jax through a table. Not literally on it, but like through it on the outside. So it counts. She went through a table. She won the match. But, geez, man, we watched it on Sling. We barely heard her say, ow, my hole. And right here, it's censored on YouTube. Like, okay, we don't know what type of hole is she talking about, but, you know, the rest of us adults, we know what she... Okay, nonetheless, it became a trending, funny topic, and I can still remember what was Mick Foley's tweet. Supposedly, what? If I remember correctly, my whole 316... This is the new Austin 316 slogan, and this could sell out a lot of T-shirts if they had one coming out on WWE Shop. That was Mick Foley's tweet, and Mick Foley is just so hilarious. The Wrestling Hall of Famer for such loud, obnoxious statement.
Yeah.
Well, that's Mick Foley for you, man. It's hilarious.
Yeah. One thing I gotta point out, because it all stems since last Sunday at the Royal Rumble. Nia Jax thought that by obliterating Lana since that November, she thought that she will never show her face again. But boy, was she mistaken. Like, she saw she saw a ghost this past Sunday, and the way how
this is, and speaking of the birthday boy, this is what he sent me a few days ago.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna see if I can show it off right here. Ask me about my butthole. My goodness. And then here's the other one. My whole new world. and it has, I believe, Aladdin in the background right here. My goodness. And I don't know, man, but obviously what happened last week, it had its moment. I don't think it's going to be a trending funny topic for long. It just happened spontaneously out of nowhere, and obviously, you know, the one who felt it more was Nia Jax more than us, because all we got was a laughter out of it. I don't know if she deems it funny or whatever. I mean, I haven't seen any, you know, reaction from Nia Jax on Twitter, because I don't have Twitter. Basically, I know you do, but
I haven't seen anything like it. I'm pretty sure everybody else in WWE was enjoying themselves at her expense. But going back to because I'm trying to piece it from that November all the way to Royal Rumble, and then on to last Monday in that tables match. Nia Jax thought that she had Lana right there at that, and the moment when she was about to go for that leg drop, and then right there, just when Lana moved, and then right there, Nia hit hard heavily on the coccyx, and right there the feed was so overbearing, and that was what allowed Alana to take advantage, and from there obtain the victory. But as much as Nia thought that she would rid Alana, she sadly realizes that she's not going to go anywhere. She was always going to have that fight in her.
And then, of course, what happened this past Wednesday on SmackDown, it's like it was that scene all over again because of what happened on Raw. And we're going to play that clip right now in just a little bit. But it's like, okay, are they trying to reinvigorate what happened on Monday? Because, you know, like I said, that happened. There was something spontaneous. It was never in the works, in the plan. And
it's a wonder how you guys even fit
and all of a sudden, you know, this happened. But it seemed like Nia Jax really capitalized on that moment. And now here they come. And since it's been a huge topic all over social media, of course, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, they took advantage of that and they embarrassed Nia Jax, you know, in the premises.
And Charlotte Flair to become the two-time women's tag team champions. Why is nobody talking about that? Why are we being ignored? Yeah, we are the most dominant force in WWE.
I don't know if that part's going to get cut out, but I guess we'll see.
We're on a roll. On a roll? Is that what you guys want to call it? On a roll? You know, I heard rumors that the two of you were going to show up, so I came prepared. Roll the footage.
Well, this is Raw last Monday. This is Shayna and Naomi one-on-one.
Here I thought at first that was going to be the first thing they were going to show, but they showed, obviously, Shayna Baszler winning the match with Lana's interference on the outside, but Naomi capitalized with a roll-up and defeated Shayna Baszler, but that wasn't what they really wanted to show. Here I was expecting the My Whole video.
Actually, that wasn't the footage I was talking about. It was actually, you wouldn't dare. Don't you dare, Sasha. Don't even. Roll it!
It's Nia Jax and Lana in a tables match. The object of the match is put your opponent to the table and you win. Things desperately got out of control when this happened.
Censored again. Censored yet again. I'm not surprised. But at least on SmackDown, I did heard it.
Nia's heard it now. And Nia and Shayna upset at being embarrassed out here by Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. And Banks, a former tag team champion in her own right, taking it to Shayna. And now Bianca and Nia going at it.
Guess
Sasha
what?
and Bianca attempting to join forces.
And? Unfortunately, she couldn't say because this isn't USA. That was Fox. So she's got to watch her mouth. But still, her facial expression said it all. It was like, my whole round two. So, yeah, man, it's like, you know, we were seeing what we saw on Monday, but yet again, it's like, okay, now we know where her weak spot is, and unfortunately, that's her big hiney. And I mean, there's really nothing wrong with Nia Jax. I mean, she may be big, but damn, I mean, you know, she's, with all due respect, she's hot, you know, and you know, I may have a thing for all different type of women, but you know, like I said, she may be big, but in my opinion, she's hot. You know, and unfortunately, this is one of those things where, you know, it just happens out of nowhere, and it's unique in its own way, and that's something that will never be recreated again. You know, so. But now that I show you a couple of memes, imagine how many other memes have been out there involving Nia Jax and her sweet little hole. My goodness. I can feel your pain, Nia Jax. I can feel your pain.
I said my piece.
Of course. Also, Damian Priest and Bad Bunny, you know, they're still together. They're still building this thing since the word is already out that we know that what's in the works is going to be a WrestleMania tag team match involving Bad Bunny tying up with Damian Priest, and they're going to go against The Miz and John Morrison. Last week on Raw took place. Damian Priest had a singles match against the return of Angel Garza. He had Miz and Morrison in their corner, and of course, Bad Bunny, you know, he's always down with it with Damian Priest and has no problem, no issue giving him an assist if it's needed. So obviously, you know, they had that, and you know that's still building up. The only thing that I pray upon is that, you know, they don't have Bad Bunny each and every single week, because that since he is a major star internationally, and we all know that 10 times over, but he still has to give downtime for himself. You know, he's got projects in the works, you know, music videos and other stuff, appearances, you know, virtually or whatever Bad Bunny's got going on. Of course he's got to honor all of that, besides, you know, him being a part of this project with WWE and WrestleMania. So he's definitely got to, you know, honor everything that he's got going for him before this became a reality for him. Keith Lee and Riddle, man, this match that they had, it was just extremely awesome, and that was the only thing. And I'm gonna get into the match. You know very well that this match, straight up, Keith Lee Riddle was just one of the most hard-hitting, just downright physically to the punch and kicks and all of that, man. It was just pretty much to see who had the most to give as far as energy, you know, pretty much the stamina, all the kicks and punches that they give towards each other. I mean, Riddle had a major brick wall to break down. And here I thought that would be nearly impossible, but Riddle almost really got close to defeating Keith Lee. And Keith Lee gave it his all, man. There was no disappointment in the match. But that was the only match that I felt, as they were getting at each other back and forth, this was a straight up fight. You know, nothing botched up in the works, nothing at all, man. It was just incredible to watch. You know, of course, at the very end, you know, Bobby Lashley had to come in and spoil everything. Musclehead here had to burst his ego and show off to the world why he is Musclehead Lashley. That's one match I'm looking forward to seeing. One-on-one, Bobby Lashley and Keith Lee. I mean, it's already cool seeing Riddle have the chance, but he already had like 3 chances, and unfortunately, all 3 of them were done for by Lashley. But Keith Lee and Lashley, that's where the real money maker is at. Even though for Elimination Chamber, the United States title will be on the line, them 3, and if there would be a different synopsis of what I think could happen as far as the title change would be concerned, I'd say Keith Lee would definitely take it. But I have a feeling, some strange feeling, that Bobby Lashley would end up keeping it at all costs, cheating him. You see how much damage he did right after that singles match that Riddle and Keith Lee had. He was just letting them know who is on point and who's at the top right now, holding the U.S. title.
I just want to point out that And to borrow a phrase from the late great Gorilla Monsoon, last Monday, Raw, we talked about the proverbial, as it's before, no reference to Nia Jax, against the immovable object, because that's what it looked to me that last past Monday was in that match between Keith Lee and Riddle, and the shot was on the line for whoever wins that match gets a shot at Bobby Lashley and the United States title. And both men gave it the Raw. So evidently they're not gonna say, oh, it's gonna be just one man going for the United States title. Let's say we're gonna give it out both Keith and Riddle. They both have a shot at Bobby Lashley and the United States title. So pretty much Bobby Lashley's pretty much gonna have two years more in the back of his head is to see who will most likely take the U.S. title away from him. And the question on everybody's mind is, will there be a possibility of a new United States champion? I say that it's a possibility. To say that Bobby Lashley can retain it, that's pretty much playing the odds 70-1.
As we move along with SmackDown, the head of the table, Angle's still going strong. When it comes to the Elimination Chamber, there are already 2 matches on the card as far as involving the Chamber is concerned. On the Raw side, Drew McIntyre is going to take on former WWE champions in that chamber. So along with the current champion, Drew McIntyre, we will see The Miz, who's currently the Money in the Bank winner. We will see also Sheamus, the phenomenal AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, and who am I missing? Those are the only 4 that out of the 5 that I can recall in my head. The Miz, Sheamus, AJ Styles. now I'm going backward. Randy Orton. Randy Orton's the other one that hasn't been mentioned. So it'll be Drew McIntyre, the current champion. The Miz, current Money in the Bank winner. Sheamus, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, and the Viper Randy Orton. So all of them are going to be fighting in the chamber, and the title will be on the line now on SmackDown. Adam Pearce wanted to make the same thing for the main event on that side involving the Universal title. But of course, Roman, once again, with his cool, calm, collected number 1 man himself, the Tribal Chief, was not happy with what Adam Pearce proposed. So of course, he passed on the papers to Mr. Paul Heyman, the executive counsel to the Tribal Chief and Universal Champion Roman Reigns. They reviewed it over. They were not happy with that. So I believe they decided to twist some things around. Indeed, there will be 6 men in that cell. The only twist now is whoever wins that chamber match will face one-on-one with the Universal Champion Paul. Heyman made that very clear, that the winner of that chamber match will face one-on-one against the Universal Champion Roman Reigns at the pay-per-view. So the 6 men from the SmackDown side are the controversial Sami Zayn, his tag team partner this past Friday on SmackDown was King Corbin. Another tag match involved, and the winners were the one-time duo, and they did pretty good for themselves, who are in a role as of late, was Cesaro and his former nemesis, and now already trying to get back into the game and in a very good role, Daniel Bryan. The 2 guys that Adam Pearce selected automatically at the top of the show was Roman Reigns' cousin, Jey Uso, and his nemesis, Kevin Owens. And yeah, Roman was not happy with that. He was not happy with that. That at the end of the show, Kevin Owens came and stated that he's not done with Roman. That he is not done with him at all. It is cool to see Seth Rollins come back. He said that he had a new leash on life, that he had a new vision, and that he should embrace that vision. Unfortunately, that vision is not new. It's the same from what it once was before. Because he had the entire locker room, he had the entire SmackDown roster outside of the ring just to hear him talk about the same old thing. And they walked away. And the last one who hasn't walked away at that time was Cesaro, and this was before the tag match that him and Daniel Bryan were about to have. And he told Seth Rollins, you didn't change that at all. You're still the same guy. So there might be a new rivalry in the process right after the Chamber, and it might involve Cesaro because he struck that in first. Maybe even Daniel Bryan. So it could be one of them too. It's leaning that way. It'll be just a matter of time right after the Chamber match and the pay-per-view itself to see where Seth Rollins is going to go from there. What else? Street Profits came back and they're back in the game. They defeated Otis and Chad Gable. And they're looking in pretty tip-top shape, and they want to get back their SmackDown Tag Team titles from them hungry dirty dogs. Let's do it together. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that they're back and in the game and wanting to get back, when unfortunately they lost because they took the Dirty Dogs kind of lightly. So now let's move towards AEW, and then we can talk about NXT and run down the card for tomorrow night's Vengeance Day, which will be aired on the WWE Network. Yes. So, of course, the main topic for us, as far as AEW is concerned, is the Bullet Club angle. Is it still going on as a work? Because, after seeing the exclusive video, it's like, okay, they're having us twisting our nuts in the wind, and it's like, what is really going on here? What is really going on? But before we get to that, I still couldn't believe my eyes because it finally happened, and he warned Chris Jericho. Sammy Guevara no longer part of the inner circle because he has had it up to here with MJF. And it's a damn shame. It's really a damn shame because we know what MJF is doing, and he's messing with the inner circle, even though they kind of don't see that way. We don't even know what the talks were that they had when Jericho and Sammy were out of that locker room, and he was talking with those guys. But Sammy couldn't put up with it anymore. And then to top it all off, he says he's gonna be leaving Daily's place. He needs to be away for a little while. So God only knows when Sammy Guevara is gonna come back. And God knows when he'll take care of business, if it's gonna be taken care of, or if he's gonna start fresh and leave the inner circle behind and start off fresh. That we don't know. Very impressive with the start of the Women's World Championship Elimination Tournament. Thunder Rosa did pretty good against her opponent. And that would be Layla Hirsch. Yes. Layla Hirsch did pretty good for herself. I mean, I love how Layla Hirsch is showing her stuff, how athletic she is, how she can go all night long in the ring. But, my money is on Thunder Rosa because Thunder Rosa, she's got plans. She's got goals that she wants to reach. And I never have seen a more determined individual than Thunder Rosa to get the things that she needs to do and get them done. For sure. Of course, we witnessed another interruption when Sting wanted to come out and talk to Tony Schiavone, and Taz, of course, does his usual stuff, and it's like, oh man, come on, like really? So, and then on top of that, they already decked Darby Allin in the process, the TNT champion, and they drag his carcass in a body bag. The fucking animals, man. The fucking animals. I'm telling you, man. They are really pushing buttons, but it also captures the interest. Hopefully this doesn't elude the core of what they got started. That's my main concern, because I want to tune into Revolution. I want to see Team Taz get their asses kicked by Sting and Darby Allin. We still don't know if this is going to be a live match or if this is going to be a cinematic match, because we know Sting, he's at the point where he can call it retirement at any time he wants, but he's physically limited to what he can only do being in the ring or being anywhere and getting physical with someone and making the match work. Also, there's still tension amongst the Good Brothers and the Young Bucks with Kenny in the middle and all that. Only building up to what the main event was, and the main event was just beyond spectacular. You got 4 incredible athletes in there, and they could even make it a 20-minute match, make it as long as they could, but they made it a very decent finish. Kenny Omega, we know what a hell of an athlete he is. Kenta, he's only got better ever since he left WWE and he resumed where he left off, but he just became twice as better when he kicked ass in Japan. We only got to see him do that for a little bit. And once, they exposed him here in AEW, we got to see how good Kenta really got. Lance Archer, of course, he's the biggest guy. He can do damage like no other. Jon Moxley, we know the Mox man. He's nuts, man. He can whip anybody's ass. He's a very determined guy. But now they finally acknowledge the fact that just because Kenta appeared, he is an IWGP United States champion. Their match at Road to New Beginning coming up at the end of the month. That is one that people shouldn't miss. The only way to catch that match is if you subscribe to NewJapanWorld.com. It's pretty much the same price as the WWE Network. I had it for a little bit, but then I kind of disconnected myself from it. But now that this match is going to be like Red Piper hot, I'm actually going to resubscribe again and watch that match, because this one is too good to be true. This one's for the ages, and I believe Kenta and Moxley, they're going to tear each other apart in that match. I really believe that Moxley's going to keep that belt. That he's been already holding that belt for quite some time now, and he's only going to hold on to it just a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer. So there's 2 stories here in AEW that we want to cover. Of course, Cody in his match tagging up with Lee Johnson. Here I thought, after seeing how Lee Johnson was having this rough patch of having so many losses and very few wins, or no wins at all, I think. And this would be his first one in a tag team match with Cody. It's like, why even bothering having this guy in the Nightmare family when he can't even show forth that he is a man who's worthy being in that group, who should have a balance of wins and losses. But that's the thing too. Going back to where they want to make a big deal between wins and losses, that it matters. Unfortunately, there's still players who are good and ready to go and that are talented, but unfortunately, it's not showing because the wins are being get by the mid-carders or soon-to-be superstars and getting out of that mid-carder rut to become established superstars or to become popular and be established superstars nonetheless. So the real deal here is that, of course, in the process, Cody got injured nonetheless. And we don't know how serious Cody is hurt. But I don't want to wonder either. So we got to get into that story of just how bad Cody is injured from this past Wednesday and how long is he going to be out of action for. Because if this is going to jeopardize his match with Shaq in March, then I believe that, that this rivalry is only going to be building up a whole lot more and move the match towards the summer, like how you were telling me and you predict. Why do you get the feeling that if maybe this could be the way to go? Before jumping into the story, why do you think this match should be heading towards the summer instead of March?
Well, let me be honest. I mean, if I know big events, because WWE is near a big event, and that's WrestleMania. The focus is on you need a hook, and pretty much you got to find a way to lure audiences to say this is what we got to do. You got to find a way to bring audiences towards the product, to say, because with WWE bringing in WrestleMania, since WrestleMania is only about a month, like months away, there has to be a build-up. And my feeling, not just as a wrestling fan, but as a fan in general, is that it's cool to have Shaq appear on AEW. However, theoretically, it's too soon for Shaq, for a rivalry to be built with Shaq this early in the year. My feeling that is that since AEW's end all be all, their showcase is All Out, it would be only fitting that it will culminate at All Out, since that is their end all be all. It's good to know that you have a rivalry with say hypothetically you're doing you're staging a rivalry with Shaq, especially with Jade Cargill, at as his mouthpiece, if you will, and pretty much the build up can be there. It's like you start to build up little by little, but it has to be built right. So then from there, it's like it can't just be built like it's from there, and just from there it's where to build up. And there's one thing I learned as a fan, that it has to, that whenever there's an angle or storyline involving a celebrity, the build up has to be proper. So like from here and out, from February, then we go to March, April, May, June, July. As long as you built it up little by little and the right way, then people can buy it. If it's built up the wrong way, people are not gonna buy it. And I'm saying it from first experience. Sorry.
Yeah, I think they dived into this match a little too soon, kind of mediocre type of move. We know Shaq is not, a wrestler. He is an athlete, or was an athlete in his best days in basketball. He's on the same caliber right next to Jordan, and Pippen, Rodman, all of those great players of the 90s that really shined as much as they could once they got the opportunity. Shaq, of course, will go down in history as a legend, as a Hall of Famer, because, hey, man, Shaq is one of the best, at that time. WWE wanted to do something similar with him and the Big Show. Unfortunately, all we had was a teaser. Nothing ever went down. Still verbatim and challenges like that through social media. WWE never capitalized on it because they were still too worried on how the heck they were going to better the product with the current roster superstars at the time and giving them TV time and having, scripts for them. And obviously that, that never came around. So now getting into the story, it states Cody not expected to be out too long. This past Wednesday, AEW revealed that Cody Rhodes has suffered a slight rotator cuff tear. It is believed that he was injured off a move from Cesar Bononi, where Cody landed on his shoulder. Initially, they have not stated the actual severity of the injury. According to Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live, Alvarez stated that right now, or at least at that point when this report came out, AEW does not think this will keep Rhodes out long. Alvarez says that he is expected to still compete in the mixed tag team match with Shaq on March 3rd. This past Wednesday, of course, he teamed up with Lee Johnson to take on the team of Pretty Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi. Johnson picked up the win in the match for his team. Cody's next spin match will be on March 3rd when he teams with Red Velvet against Shaq and Jade Cargill. So he's going to be out for at least a week or two. And probably won't see Cody come back until maybe that match on March 3rd. Or unless we get to see him on the last Dynamite before the following week where they'll have that mixed tag match. So we wish Cody a very speedy recovery, and hopefully that mixed tag match does go well, for their sake. And now we will get to the elephant in the room, Jade, and that is the story that we've been headlining at the top of the show. Is the Bullet Club angle still a work? Part 2. The reason why I'm stating it also this week is because, of course, we witnessed the main event. That was awesome as hell. First time ever we see Kenta, an actual member of the Bullet Club in Japan, team up with a former leader of the Bullet Club, the cleaner and current AEW World Champion, Kenny Omega, as they faced off Lance Archer and the now acknowledged and current IWGP United States Champion, Jon Moxley. They had a very, very good match. But unfortunately, Kenta and Kenny Omega took the match. They took the fight, which is cool. But what intrigued me more was finding this cute little video on their YouTube page. It states after the Falls Count Anywhere match, Omega, Callis, and the Good Brothers clear the air. Is that right? Is that right? I mean, tell me, is that right? To clear the air on what? To clear the air on the Bullet Club and more. Oh, please. This is the thing. This is the thing, and this is what Tama Tonga has stated ever since the beginning of time. They're not involved with Bullet Club anymore. They don't have no say. They don't have no motherfucking say, in the words of Tama Tonga. And just dissed the former members because they really got no power. They got no say about this whole thing. But these guys, former members of the club, they say one thing. An actual member, an OG, ever since the beginning of time, he says, another thing. So what the heck is really going on here? But Jade, I want you to hear this out. I want you to hear this clip because I heard it this morning, and I got to hear your insight on what these guys had to say. And this happened right after the match. This was an AEW exclusive, interviewing the Good Brothers, the Impact Tag Team Champions, AEW World Champion Kenny Omega, and his best friend, the jackal of all jackasses, Don Callis. Listen.
What a main event. Falls Count Anywhere, anything goes. It went all over Daly's place. But the result was a little bit tainted.
Come on. Let's do this. You know what? Look, don't stir it up. At the end of the day, this is what happened. We We shocked the world again. Kenta, the plan in Japan, 4 years in the making. It's why I was there in the first place to groom him for this. The Good Brothers are here. We're taking over. We've already taken over. Just because your mind can't handle it, you don't need to get aggressive with a question. You know what? This is done. Let's get out of here.
No, hold on. Please, before you go, I have another question. To everybody, to Don, Good Brothers, Kenny, kind of throw it out to anybody. In recent days, the last few weeks, there seems to be a lot of tension with the Bullet Club in Japan, specifically Brother Switchblade. You guys care to comment on Jay White's comments?
You know what, guys? I think it's good time to kind of clear the air here because I actually feel bad. Because there are brothers over there, okay? And look, people say, why do you guys have to have it? We take all that can be taken, and then we take a little more. But I actually feel a little bit bad because I think, look, the bottom line is that when the three brothers here left the Bullet Club, it actually was a good thing because it created opportunity for some mid-card guys to move up the chain and fly the flag. Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when baseball had a work stoppage and they had the replacement players. The Scabs who came in, they got an opportunity. It's like a Mark fantasy camp almost. You know what I mean? It's like you get to play that you're part of the big group. So I think we've done something really good here. This is a nice thing that we've done. We've created opportunity. Those guys are good guys.
Great guys.
But you don't replace Michael Jordan. You sure don't.
You can try.
You don't replace Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Okay? You can try, but this is what happens. So I think the Bullet Club guys in Japan are great. I'm not familiar with what the names are just yet, but they're flying the flag. So I would like to put a stop to all of this bad feelings. I would like to say that they've called us corny. I mean, I don't know how you get over using words like that, but listen, here's the deal. I'd like to encourage all the fans out there, please buy the merch. Let's get them back in the top 40 on Pro Wrestling Tees.
There's no hard feelings.
No, there's no water under the bridge. Water under the bridge. So buy the merch. I encourage everyone to follow those guys. We'll put the names in the post.
Kenta. That's one of them.
Kenta, great. So Invisible Hand knows exactly what's going on here. We've got New Japan, we've got Kenta, we've got it all working together. Impact Wrestling, the Good Brothers. Just sit back and wait. But for now, support our Bullet Club brothers in Japan. Buy the merch. They need the help. Yeah, that's it. Okay, guys. Good.
Total hypocrisy, my opinion. Total hypocrisy. Let me say something right now. I'm still waiting personally for the death of Bullet Club. Bullet Club already went over worldwide ever since I can remember. They have come and gone. The reason why the group is still active in Japan is because they still have groups besides the Bullet Club in Japan that have been there since the beginning of time. And this is even before the Bullet Club became a world trending topic, iconic, pop culture icon figure in wrestling. If you can catch my drift. They want to come out here graciously. They want to state that they moved aside so that other people can come in and be where these guys have been, and claim some sort of contribution into the group. I mean, that's all good and dandy, but ever since the elite guys left, the Bullet Club was back to its old roots, and there really wasn't nobody good to follow. All you had left was the Guerrillas of Destiny, who, in my opinion, still till today, they're still going strong. They're still one of the best tag teams that I have ever seen in New Japan, period, and even in the Bullet Club. Guerrillas of Destiny, they will never None of their accolades and nothing of what they have done could ever be taken away from them. Nothing. Because they are just too damn good. Tama Tonga, you can tell him to calm down and hold his words back. No, he needs to be heard. He needs to be listened. That's why this guy is at the top right now. That's why this guy, I mean, there's just something about Tama Tonga that I love to listen to everything that he has got to say because it makes sense. It makes absolute sense. And Tangaloa, man, I mean, he don't fall behind, man. He's just right there next to his brother. And them two in the ring, they're just awesome. They're just incredible to watch. You know, no doubt about that. You know, Bad Luck Fale, that's another OG that has been in the Bullet Club since day one. When the heck is he going to get a world title match, man? He's still there in New Japan. And when the heck is he going to get his break? You know, because I seen a video from years ago that the reason why he was there is hopefully that one day he could become world champion. When the hell is he going to get that break? You know, until I hear something different and I hear that Fale gets a shot, then I'll be right there supporting that guy, man, because I think he's got what it takes to become a champion. But lately he's becoming a guy expressing wisdom, which there's nothing wrong with that, you know? Nothing wrong. But, you know, he's there to make money, accomplish dreams, make things happen, you know? But when the heck is that guy going to get the push, you know? Switchblade Jay White. He became the ultimate successor right after Kenny Omega left and pitched in by Finn Balor, by Prince Devitt. He saw that he could be a future capitalization for the club. And look where Switchblade has gone, man. Switchblade has been 1,000 times over. He has proven himself. He has gotten himself better. He became a lethal asset to the club. Still its current leader. He just came back. We played a bit of the audio clip last week. He has come back. The real era still continues. It's all about progression. Nothing of a throwback. Nothing of nostalgia. Not even selling T-shirts anymore. This is the real McCoy. He wants to pursue a whole lot further with the Bullet Club and all of that. But who do you got in the Bullet Club now? I mean, you're basically getting guys from other clubs or other groups to backstab their former leaders and join in. I think the last guy that joined was from Los Ingobernables de Japón, and that was Evil.
Yeah.
And Evil's the last member that I can recall who recently joined Bullet Club sometime around last year, the year before. Who else can I recall? Phantasmo. Phantasmo's cool. He's a very good high flyer, but he's an arrogant son of a bitch. But then again, I think he belongs in the Bullet Club no matter what. You know? Who else? The Bone Soldier, the second version of Bone Soldier. He's pretty good, you know, very good. I really prefer him better than the first Bone Soldier because the Bone Soldier, the very first one, sucked. All he was kind of like a cheerleader, nothing else. Who else? You had the Tokyo Pimp. He's still in it. Chase Owens is still in it, and they thought that they were going to go with the Elite, but knowing that their contracts weren't going to be up, they went back home, back to the club. And of course with Jay White, his manager, his guy, what was his name?
Ghetto.
Yeah. Ghetto, who creatively is responsible for the club and is kind of, keeping the club contained to some form of exclusivity to make sure that this thing don't go overboard like how the NWO went overboard with so many members. But it still went over with so many members throughout the time. It's like claiming, okay, we already seen close to 40, 50 members of Bullet Club throughout the years.
I just want to point out that, yeah, I agree with you on one thing, that it is that even I did not buy such hypocritical remarks of Don Callis. The one thing I do want to point out is that the Bullet Club became the vessel for other talent to get over. Like you mentioned, its creator, Finn Balor. The list went out because pretty much those who have been in the Bullet Club said this is what I need. They pretty much said like they said, because you talk about, you talk about the Gorillas, Tamatanga, Tingaloa, Bad Luck Fale, and others, because their for intents and purposes are the heart and soul of the Bullet Club. But for others, because pretty much for others, it's like they like for others, they say they could care less about a faction. They just want to do what they can do for themselves. And it all started, yes, with Finn Balor, because I'm going from others from who were with the Bullet Club, like from Finn Balor, Adam Cole, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, AJ Styles, Kenny Omega, the Bucks, whoever. It's like the reason why I feel as a fan, like the reason why they feel like, okay, we proved that point, we can make it on our own, and now they're here stateside to live that dream, to collect, Washingtons, Benjamins, whatnot. That's what they're here for, to collect those dollars, because that's what I think. And one thing I understand about, because even though they're not technical members of the Bullet Club, they still have the same Bullet Club mentality, because for them, the rivalry, I mean, and I'm not saying from a storyline point, from a realistic standpoint, the rivals are not so much like the fans or co-workers or others who just don't want to get them. It's the promoters. It's the promoters who obviously, since day one, had no faith in them, but then the moment they start, the moment Finn Balor created the Bullet Club, and then others join the Bullet Club, and little by little they start coming out of the shells, and they say, "Look at me now, I can make it." This is why you got a Finn Balor in WWE. You got Adam Cole in the Undisputed Era. You got the Elite that launched AEW. This is pretty much sent to certain promoters who pretty much have their hands on the kill switch and say, "You don't dictate my fate. I dictate my fate. You stinking, rotten, filthy, greedy SOB." Because that's what they're saying. Because it's all about us. It's about what the fans want. And yes, like you mentioned, yes, the fans made the Bullet Club what it was in the past. It was a great thrill ride. But all I can say is that as long as there are stuck up promoters, and that's why I'm not mentioning names, as long as you got stuck up promoters out there who just pretty much have their hands on the kill switch and say, "We don't believe in you," they're pretty much going to say, "Oh, I'm going to go to pro, I'm going to flip you the bird, and I'm going to prove myself to you." And I was like, you. And I'm not going to mention the one in Jacksonville, because at least he can be fair and subjective and have an open mind. But for other promoters out there who obviously say, this guy's a waste of time, you're going to get the bird flipped at you, and they're going to prove yourself. And then within a matter of 2 minutes, like, okay, he proved himself. I'll give him a chance.
Speaking of promoters, do you think Tony Khan can become a character within himself, being like a Mr. McMahon, like Eric Bischoff, or any of those, or Paul Heyman, any of those top, business managerial type of guys? You think Tony Khan could be that type of character to be believable if he ever had an opportunity to run with some type of character like that? Because, hey, during Impact, even though you hardly ever see AEW wrestlers come in, but every single Tuesday you see Tony Khan ad announcement with Tony Schiavone. It keeps me pretty interested. I mean, I can believe, if Tony Khan can believe within himself to be a character, to be like a ruthless business guy, if he has it within him to be like a heel of a business guy, I think he can do it. I really think he can do it. I don't know if you would agree with me on that, because he comes out every single Tuesday promoting his AEW show on Impact. And this is already, once this business relationship became solid, and we're seeing somewhat of the fruits of the labor. But, Tony Khan has been consistent with these paid ads to promote Dynamite right the next night for his Impact shows on TNT.
He pretty much needs to. Right now, it's the only thing I could say for that is like he can be, but for now, I think it's best to stay, because let's not forget it happened to another promoter. Well, I might as well say it happened to Dixie Carter, because she thought that she could be just as heels, but the problem was that from a creative standpoint, is like she was a good boss, but the reason why. And this is and of course my opinion, the reason why TNA started to sink was because she little by little little by little, she started becoming full of herself, and that was one of the reasons. Because I thought to myself, yeah, she could play the. I was like, I want to see her play the heel card, but the moment she started playing the heel card and at an inopportune time, that's where little bit she didn't get it. So to say if Tony Khan could play, he could play it, but not now. He pretty much still has to learn those realistically. To say like you pretty much have to learn like how to handle talent, and they pretty much tell you, okay, this is what we gotta do. I mean, for now he could still be subjective and say, okay, this is what you gotta do. He could still say to people like Don Callis and others who have been in the game as long as like, okay, this is what you get for pushing my buttons. Now you're gonna see what I can do.
I think it would be a huge payoff when that time comes, and you're right, it is too early for him to actually do something like that, but still, like somewhere down along the line, I believe that he can make a really good go of it when that time comes, because they still got to educate him about that game. They still got to educate him about how to do it smartly, how to do it remotely, and how to make it successful and make sure that it stays within character and not become a reflection of what his true self could be. Even though I'm pretty sure Tony Khan, from what people say in AEW, at least, how they state Tony Khan, pretty good guy to work with, always open, always listens, and can give you good feedback and all that stuff. That's awesome to hear. So back to close out this Bullet Club story. I also have a feeling that this could be a huge work in the process, because if one side says one thing and another says another, and then while we're scratching our heads, they can easily concoct something juicy, and then at the very end it could all come together and it blows up in our faces and say, we stuck it to you while you guys are trying to figure it out. I mean, I'll be damned when that happens. And when that happens, I'm going to have to look back right now at this point in time when we're trying to predict what if all of this is a huge payoff and all of this is an actual work. And we're believing it so much that at the very end, they're going to be the ones sticking it to us, the wrestling fans, for not seeing coming or having to be asleep on the radar switch when we should have our eyes and ears open up to every little facet that these guys are involved in, So obviously we're going to stay on alert. We're going to catch up to every freaking clue possible, and there's going to be some nooks and crannies or Easter eggs that they're going to have to lay at our doorstep, and we got to be the ones smartly to catch it right away. Otherwise, then, it's pretty much going to end up as egg in our face for not catching it anytime soon. So now it'll be just a matter of time. We're already going into Sunday morning. Vengeance Day is just hours away. And honestly, they could have renamed it into something more. They could have renamed it. They could have renamed it NXT TakeOver St. Valentine's Day Massacre. But they decided to rename it Vengeance Day. What is Vengeance Day? What is vengeance? I'll tell you what's vengeance. 2006, when DX was a part of it. When John Cena kicked Sabu's ass for the third brand of WWE's ECW. That's what vengeance was to me. Vengeance Day is a barely believable name, but it's stuck. Obviously, they should have just renamed it NXT TakeOver St. Valentine's Day Massacre. I think that would have been a little bit more plausible.
For me, Vengeance Day was the night where the man now known as late champion won the World Championship for the first time, and that was the two titles, and that was in December of 2001, I think it was.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right, and that would be Le Champion.
Yes.
In AEW, the first AEW champion, Chris Jericho,
Mhm.
who still, I wonder how many bottles of Le Bubbly he still sells on the website. And hopefully I have the chance to actually try one of them bottles before those bottles become extinct. Or if I buy one bottle and it's good and keep the other one, I don't know, for collection or something like that. I don't know. But nonetheless, Vengeance Day, it's coming up in a matter of hours on the WWE Network. And we are going to try to run down the card of what is expected to see coming up later on in a matter of hours. Of course, we got the women's Dusty Classic Tag Team Finals. We are going to see Ember Moon tagging up with Shotzi Blackheart to go against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Now, we've been talking about it ever since we've been watched NXT on the DVR, and we've been seeing who's been getting the momentum as of late. But it's already up to this point. We got two really good teams here. Like I mentioned this past Wednesday, I really want Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart to succeed, but my heart is telling me Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, no matter what, they are going to find a way to make sure that this match is theirs for the take. Your opinion?
I say the same thing. I mean, as much as it would be nice to see Shotzi and Ember become the winners of the women's Dusty tournament, I think that it's just gonna go to Raquel and Dakota as well, and a possible shot at the women's tag titles.
Nonetheless, one of these two teams is gonna make history for the first time ever, because this is the first Dusty Classic Women's Tag Team Tournament. And for the first time ever, we will see one of these two teams getting crowned with that trophy for the women's division. On the men's division side, we're going to see the finals involving the team of MSK going up against the team of the Grizzled Young Veterans. Your take on who can take this match?
Well, pretty much since they've arrived last year. I'm talking about this team first, or about years ago. Ever since about a year ago, since they arrived on the NXT circuit, the Grizzled Young Veterans have always proven themselves that this should be their division on the NXT roster. They pretty much said we can take on any outcomers, and they said they want to be one of the top ranked teams in the NXT circuit. Now we can go to a team that has arrived recently, and that's MSK. And MSK, pretty much, well, we all know some of them as previously the Rascals on Impact Wrestling, and they pretty much brought it on, and they could be as cohesive as ever, and they could bring an arsenal, and they could pretty much go along. So this is pretty much also a tough situation. I mean, the Grizzled Young Veterans can win this the finals of the men's tournament, but I'm gonna have to go with MSK on this one.
Well, in my opinion, I got mixed feelings with this match, because yes, we've seen the debut of Grizzled Young Veterans the previous year during the Dusty Tag Team Classic Tournament, where they state that for the following year, it would be theirs to take. And look how they've been doing leading up to this point. But another thing, too, is that MSK arrived at the scene on NXT at the very proper time to show what they got as a tag team. And they are one of the most hyperactive teams that I've ever seen come along in NXT. Unfortunately, not seeing much of their work in Impact. Only you were familiar with that, but I was impressed with seeing these guys taking to such extreme measures, making sure that they are heading all the way to the top and making sure that they're the ones to succeed in this final match for them to get the trophy at the very end of it all. So, my take on this match, My heart says MSK, but somewhere in the back of my mind, it's stating that the grizzled young veterans are in this for a reason, and that's to show why they've been proclaiming this for a year, just a year ago, that this is theirs for the take, and they might take it. So that is where I'm at. But in order to pick one team out of these two, MSK. I could be wrong, but I'll select MSK for this one. So we're going to see, which team goes down and gets the trophy just a little bit later on at Vengeance Day. The North American Championship is on the line. Kushida gets his shot at the leader of the way, Johnny Gargano. Your take?
Well, ever since he became North American champion again, Johnny Gargano has pretty much wanted to ensure that all the momentum goes his way, especially with Austin Theory as his understudy, his pupil, if you will. Pretty much, it's pretty much the what they want to see. It's pretty much, well, since they call themselves their way. Well, and since Johnny is the North American champion, he wants to make sure he has a long run with the North American title. But the potential is there for a new North American champion. And so far, ever since arriving on the NXT scene, Kushida, he's pretty much proven others because he's been red hot in Japan. And yes, he has wrestled here stateside and he can bring on a good matches, bring on a good arsenal, and take on opponents and go well. So pretty much what I have to say is, here's what I say. Part of me wants to see Kushida become the new North American champion. However, I might have to say just this once, there's a possibility Johnny might retain.
I agree with you completely. I mean, I'm impressed with Kushida ever since his stuff from New Japan. He's been one of those wrestlers that you are oohing and on every single move that he has done in his repertoire. Kushida is just incredible to watch. I want him to be seen as a champion in NXT. I want him to be a North American championship. But knowing how Johnny Gargano has been a very sneaky devil in a grasp and just wanted to retain the North American championship at all costs. Now that he's got the way with him by his side, and I'm expecting Austin Theory to be there to interrupt the match, to provoke a disqualification, to distract the referee, for Johnny Gargano to pull something out of his the hat as a magic trick and just cheap shot Kushida in any way possible for him to retain the title. That's what I am smelling the outcome of this match, literally. It's like, I want Kushida to get the title, but I'm smelling Johnny Gargano to cheat to keep the championship at all costs, any way possible, coming up for Vengeance Day. The triple threat match for the women's championship. The current champion, Io Shirai, taking her chances, going up against two of the best women who I believe can become future women's champions in NXT. I'm talking about Toni Storm. I'm talking about Mercedes Martinez. We are very familiar with Mercedes Martinez. She is a phenomenal athlete, one of those tough, hard-hitting chicks that you do not want to be seen in an alley with. Having her to beat the shit out of you, I mean, that's just madness right there. But I don't want to downput Toni Storm. I mean, she is one of the good ones. We've seen her heel turn, but this is the way she needs to go in order to bring that edge with her to get something extra out of her and see her really go to work and lay it on you. So who do you expect in this match to take it all?
Well, since last year when she became the NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai has pretty much defended the title against all comers and pretty much whoever got her way, and pretty much she's pretty much did everything could, and she had a great run. And instinctively, I'm gonna say that there could be a slight possibility that her run as champion could be over. And not to say that it should be over, because like I mentioned, she had a long run. She could obviously get the belt back. So I'm gonna say there could be a slight possibility that there could be a new NXT Women's Champion, and I'm gonna have to go with Toni Storm.
You choose Toni Storm? Well, yeah, I mean, Toni Storm has been around for the longest. She's been seen a little bit in the Mae Young Classic tournament in years past. There was just something special about Toni Storm at the time when she was, one of the good girls. Now that she's a heel, we're only seeing a very nasty side of her, but not sadistic enough, like how Mercedes Martinez has been displayed already for the last number of weeks. And we know how she can be. She can be so cold, so ruthless, but still takes it to you in a very, very physical way. My heart is telling me Io Shirai is going to keep this belt. She's going to keep her championship. But if I were to pick one of these two women who could be a possibility of a new champion in case Io Shirai doesn't make it out with that championship, I'm going to say Mercedes Martinez. I don't know why, but I feel like this has been coming for her for quite some time. She really wants to get on board. She wants to prove herself. She could definitely take this ride where it needs to go, and for her to better herself as an individual and as a performer as well. So that's my take on this match. But my heart is telling me that Io Shirai is going to remain the NXT Women's Champion. Another match coming up, and that is the main event. Finn Balor, current NXT champion, against one of the most ruthless men I have ever seen in my life, and a former NXT UK champion in Pete Dunne. I am a Finn Balor fan to the death. I'm impressed with that guy. There's something about him, and nothing tagging with the Bullet Club or anything. It's just how he has improved so much as an individual, as a performer, and as a wrestler as a whole, because he's busted ass for so long. Leading to this point, he's been in NXT. He gave his run in WWE, but unfortunately that's been cut short. And here we thought in NXT, him coming back, we were going to see the same thing over again. But no, this time Finn Balor stuck his guns, and he is just incredible to watch. Not to say that Pete Dunne is not incredible to watch either. There's a reason why they call him the Bruiserweight. Why he has been a successful NXT UK champion. Why he feels that him being the NXT champion should be his time to get the belt. I believe this is going to be one of the best physical matches that we're going to expect to see in 2021 for these two men. It's going to be one hell of an all-brawl performance. But I still believe that Finn Balor is going to keep this championship. This is going to be one of his biggest tests to date, and I don't see any fear within him in his eyes. Finn Balor is going to keep the championship.
On that I can agree, because Finn Balor will still be the NXT champion after Vengeance Day. I mean, like you mentioned, yeah. Pete Dunne truly a very ruthless competitor, but no matter what he does, and he'll bring everything. But I think at the end of the night, Finn Balor will still be the NXT champion.
Well, that is it for the card that you can expect to see this coming up later on, later tonight on Sunday night. NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day on the WWE Network. Don't miss it. Something tells me this is going to be that is going to be an incredible show to watch. This one shouldn't be a something that an NXT fan or a wrestling fan should miss. I believe this one's going to be one of the good shows of this year. and it's going to be seen later on the network. If you got the network, I suggest you check it out. But if you don't have the network, you should get it. You shouldn't wait to be out on the cold and just watch the clips of a recap or something that happened during the match, or even watch the aftermath of it all, having exclusives to talk with the former champions or the current champions that still retain their titles, or the challengers that unfortunately fell short in their matches, that type of thing. You should watch it, from beginning to end. I believe Vengeance Day is going to be a very decent show. But before that, I think I'll pump myself up for later on when watching Saint Valentine's Day Massacre of 1999. So here I am replaying the theme of old because, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it is Valentine's Day weekend. But for me, it's St. Valentine's Day Massacre. So I don't give a rat's. But nonetheless, this is all the time that we got. I thank you very much for watching the Wrestling Weekend Recap. And before we sign off, I want to thank all of you once again for the latest subscription edition. Now we're up to 2,640 subscribers. Thank you so much for everyone out there that are still in tune with the wrestling uploads that had to do with Sting, with his history in WCW, from Greatest Superstars of the 90s, Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen, some of the NWO videos. There's people that have been tuning to the Wrestling Weekend Recap episodes, some of the Mortal Kombat stuff. And, we just can't thank you enough. It is a blessing. We appreciate you guys a whole lot. Thank you so much. We just can't stop saying thank you because, hey, this is all about you guys. Keep on liking the videos. Keep on commenting. The subscriptions are really appreciated. You don't know how much. And that is it for us. We're signing off. So hopefully we get to see you guys next Saturday when we can give you the update and the fallout of NXT Vengeance Day. And we can recap, of course, Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, the Wednesday Night Wars between NXT going up against AEW Dynamite, tagging up with Impact Wrestling and possibly New Japan Pro Wrestling. We'll see how all of it goes next week. Until then, this has been the one and only Jade. I am Aceman X. Thank you very much for watching. Until then, stay safe, mask up, keep your 6 feet distance apart. Peace and love worldwide. It has been a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy your Valentine's Day weekend. Have a good night, everyone.